Hi, I'm Bet at Bets Makes, and today we're going to learn how to make some iron-on pillowcases. And we're going to be using this nice orca whale design that we got from Design Bundles, and I'll give you the link to everything that we're going to be doing today. Just as we get started here, in today's project, we've got 5 things we want to accomplish. We're going to upload the design from Design Space. We're going to prepare the design for iron-on. We're going to weed the design, and then of course we're going to use our heat press in order to get the design to go right on top of the pillow, and then we're going to finalize our project. Now, a few of the things you're going to need besides a Cricut cutting machine and a heat press is we're going to go and get some supplies here. This is the orca design. Now I'm going to give you the link right below this video. But here's the first one that you're going to need, and this is what it looks like inside. Now it says plus membership, but it looks like you can also purchase this one. I will make sure that you get the right link for it, that you can purchase that or get something similar in case you don't want to do with an orca. Now there's also a kit, and I'm just going to click on the kit. This is the Cricut Iron-On, Get Started with Iron-On. And it includes a lot of the glitter, a weeding tool, and a bunch of other stuff, which I will show you in just a moment. And then finally here, the pillowcases you're going to need. Now, I bought these at Cricut. These are pillow cover blanks and white, and you can get them in beige and some other colors. And they're on sale, it shows right here. So those are just a few of the things that you are going to need, and of course our kit is going to be the most important part. So let's get started by just simply going over into Design Space. So I'm just opening up Design Space here, and I'm going to click on a new project. Now, once we have all of our design downloaded from Design Bundles or from wherever you want to take it, you want to bring it into Design Space, and that's going to be a very important part. So I'm going to click on Upload. Now, I have already uploaded it here, but all you will need to do is go and click here, which is Upload Image, and then you are going to pick on the whale one you want as a design. I use the SVG file because I like to take things apart. Okay, we are just simply going to add this to the canvas. Now it's going to come in as one side. You'll see everything is set up as a basic cut, which is absolutely fine, but you'll also notice that it is not attached. Now the big issue here is you want to be able to have it so it's going to fit on the pillowcase. So you're going to have to take your pillowcase and understand what the size is going to be. And of course these are 17.5 inches by 17.5 inches when you buy them from Cricut. So we know that we can then make this a little wider. Well, we're not going to go 17.5 inches because we know 11.5 is the maximum we can cut on any one mat. So I'm going to just lock this size up here at the top, and let's get it to lock. There we go. Now we know 11.5 is the maximum, so I'm just going to type in 11.5, and that's going to give us the size that we are going to cut. Now everything is selected here. An important part as you're going through Design Space is to make sure that everything is attached and all your basic cuts aren't going to be all over the place. So come down to the bottom of the layers panel here and click attach. Now this particular whale, if we cut it out the way it is and iron it on, will be facing the opposite way, and the letters won't be able to be read. So really important here, when we go over to the mat, you can turn the mirror on, or if you would rather not worry about the mirror, you can come over here and use flip. This is what I generally do. So I flip it horizontal so it goes backwards, and there we go. You'll see the letters are in reverse, and then I don't have to worry about forgetting that I have to turn mirror on. So once it is facing backwards, we are all ready to go. Everything is attached. So we're going to click on Make It. And we're going to go on Matte for any material. And then we're going to continue. Now, because the design was in black, it's going to come on the black mat where you see everything. It seems to fit okay for what we want. So let us continue. I'm going to select our device, and today I'm going to be using my maker. So I'm going to just simply select my maker and connect it this way in the base material. Now I'm going to just leave it right here for now because we want to go over to our demo table, and then we want to then take a look at the material that's inside of the kit, because that is what we are going to be using. So let's go over to the demo table now. All right, here's our kit that we're going to be working with. This is the Iron-On Starter Kit, and I'm just going to take it apart. Just move this over to the side. Now these kits come with a little drawer, so that's kind of handy. So we're just going to open up our kit, and I will just take the back of the box right off because we're going to be working with this particular kit. Now it does come with a weeding tool, which is great. Let me just get that out of there. And then we also have cut ready designs. So we have a lot of cut ready designs that come with it. Package here, Iron-On project instructions, which this is absolutely fabulous. Gives you all the instructions for everything that you need to do. Even has a heat guide and everything inside, and it's got it in several languages. Right now I'm just going to stick with the English. And it gives us all the different settings for each different type of machine that you have. So this is absolutely perfect. And I'm just going to set those aside. Now we have inside here also, we have our weeding tool. Let's see if I can get this out of here. There we go. Just get my weeding tool out. There we are. Sorry for the noise. So I have a weeding tool that we're going to be able to use, and we have several colors of glitter, and these are glitter Iron-On, which is perfect, but I'm going to be making an orca whale, so I'm just going to be sticking with the black one for now. So I'll just put these aside because I won't be using those colors, but I'll definitely be using the black. Just move that out of the way. Now I also have two pillow covers that we're going to be using, and these ones have a nice edge to them, and it's just called a pillow cover blank, and it has all the various instructions. So I'm just going to take this one apart at the bottom here. I've got two of these we're going to be working with, and I just want to make sure our design is going to fit, and it has a couple of the little attachments in here. So I'm going to have to cut those off. Just grab a pair of scissors. Just cut our little edges off here. Way so they don't get in the way. Just have to find the other side of it. Make sure I've got them all. There's one right there. There's the other right there. Just make sure you don't have those in place. So this is a fair size pillow cover. The other thing I had purchased, and I got these, I believe, at Hobby Lobby, were the inserts. And they're just called CTG brand. And it's just simply an insert. So once we finish the Iron-On, we can put this on the pillow. Put that away. So we're going to be doing on our surface here. Now we are using 11.5 by 11.5. So that is going to be ideal for what we're going to press on here. Now I'm just going to move this to the side, and I have a couple of mats that I'm going to be using here. Now we want to have a couple of pieces that are 11.5 by 11.5. So let's just see what we've got here for the black. This is all iron-on, even though it's not labeled as such. That's what we're going to be doing with the iron-on. And just remember, when you're doing an iron-on, and I can see there's a little extra piece in here. Just grab my scissors and open this up. Remember, just make sure you cut it away from you. There we go. Boy, that's a real tough one. Just take those pieces of cellophane out of the way. I just move them off onto my desk here. There we go. Now that we have one piece here, so we're going to be able to cut one whale out of this. That looks pretty good. And remember, when you're cutting with iron-on, one of the things to remember is that the shiny side is going to go face down. So that's the first thing we want to do here. Just take that shiny side and we're going to put it face down and get it onto our mat. Try to get it as straight as possible. I'm going to gently push it, but I use a brayer tool just to make sure things are going to stick the way I want them to stick on a particular mat. Just so you don't have enough stick in some places. But that is going to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so that's one. So I'm going to need one more piece, and I have some extra black, or I could do the other whale in one of the other colors. I'm going to stick with the black, but you could use a different color. So now I have both pieces. I had another piece of glitter black. So we're ready to do some cutting with this. So we want to go back to design space, and we want to make sure we are selecting the right type of material when we go on there, because what these are a glitter iron-on. So we have to go back and we have to check up on what we are going to be doing here. So it's not glitter cardstock, but it is a glitter iron-on. So I'm going to click on Browse All Materials here, and I'm just going to type in iron-on, do a search, and we have a glitter iron-on right here. Now I'm going to add this as my favorite. So I'm just going to click the little star here, and that'll come into my favorites, and then I'll click Done. Once it goes into the favorites, if I went back to set my material, let's go back here. So once it's in favorites, it's going to come for a list here. Now you can put 12 favorites in on your deck here. So we're going to go for glitter iron-on, and it wants us to load the fine point blade, and now we are going to go ahead and cut. So we want to be able to come across here, load it. My machine is asking for all the different parts and pieces here. So let's just switch over here to our camera. And I will just pull this so I have some room in behind here, because you need room behind so that it doesn't hit walls or anything else. So this is all ready to load. Just make sure things are stuck down. They are. So what I'm going to do is click here, let it load, and it'll do its own cutting. It's going to think here for just a second while it pushes it in. And it's looking for us to unload the mat. And let me just figure out why it wants to do that. Longer mat required. Okay, so I'm going to go back here because we don't want to have a longer mat. Do you want to cancel the cut? Yes. Because it's going to 12 inches on one side here. So let's go back and I'll show you exactly what's going on here. So let's just click this. It goes 11.37. And I didn't check that, but we have to make sure the maximum is 11.5, and it's just going to shrink it a little bit. Now I haven't saved this, so I'm going to just save it right now, and I'm just going to call it Orca Pillow. There we go. Just going to save it. Let's go back, and we are going to make it. On the mat, continue, and now it looks like we have a shorter mat, so that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's go back to continue, select our device, take a second or two while it thinks, and we want to set our material to glitter iron on as we had before. And now we are ready, so let's go back out and take a look at what we're going to be doing here. Let's load that mat back up. Now it's really interesting because you can quite often miss some steps as you're going through making any project. As you notice, I didn't check for the mat length, and I should have, because I just assumed everything was 11.5 max, and that was my error. So now it's going to go ahead and cut. Now it's going to take a little while to cut this. We'll just pause the video for when it's finished cutting. Alright, everything is done cutting now, and I'm just going to turn off my machine, put it aside, make sure you click on done when you are in your own design space. Now you'll notice that we have both of them cut right here, and this one where you can see the lines, and this one's pretty tough and you can't see the lines. The little trick to be able to see these lines is something as simple as a little bit of baby powder. So I'm just going to give it a little squirt here. That should be enough. And I'm going to just take my hand and rub it over the design. And as you can see, the lines are starting to appear now, so that you know you're not going to miss anything. So this is a great way to do this, especially for the darker materials where the lines are pretty tough to see. So I'm just going to rub that. See, and I'm just trying to get some of the excess off. It is baby powder, so it's not going to harm anything. It smells nice too. So I'm just trying to get that. Now, the reason we do that is because when we go to weed this, we want to weed it so that we are only taking out the pieces that we don't want in there. For example, the W is going to stay. And then we are just going to just pull up around the W to start. And remember, I'm doing this on the mat, and the reason I do it on the mat, it's just much easier. So I'm just going to pull this away. Now there is a sticky piece underneath, and just be aware that there is a lot of extra area here that you're not going to need, and I'll just show you a couple little tricks later how to do that. But right now you'll notice with some of, particularly the glitter, it will stay back on the paper or on the backing here, but that's okay. So we're just going to spend some time now, and I want you to go through and I want you to weed this up. And I just want to be very careful around the edges here. Now this one, no big deal. So I'm going to pull this piece off. And now I'm just going to continue and go ahead and weed this, and then once I've finished weeding, we'll come back and we'll start to apply it with our heat press. Alright, I've finished weeding both pieces, and you'll notice that there's, some extra little pieces of where we have extra glitter on the outside where this is pulled off. Now it's an entire choice of yours whether you want to have those little pieces show up or not. Or you could simply take a pair of scissors and you can cut off the pieces that you're not interested in using. Now this is all part of the backing, as you can see. So we are going to actually roll this off so that we get our design. Pull both pieces off just like that, and I'll move my mat out of the way to cover it. So we have the one, and we're going to center it on top of our material like this. I'm just going to place it here for a second because I am going to cut some of these edges off. I just want to pull the other one from the other mat and move that out of the way. Now, because I don't want to have all these extra little edges, all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut some of the pieces away that has the extra glitter that I don't want. Some of it I don't mind. Some of it inside the design is just fine, but I find when you're working with glitter, quite often you will get the extra little pieces that you don't necessarily want. Now you can use other methods in order to do this. I just find just cutting off pieces of it that I don't want are actually perfect. You could use a little alcohol rub and take it off that way as well. I just prefer to do that little bit of snipping and cutting. Now, because we're all ready to go with this, I'm going to do a couple of things in order to prep up for what we want. Let's just get rid of this piece. And one more here. Just going to try and get rid of some of what I don't want. Now, I could cut out the center as well, but I think the glitter on this particular design is going to work out just fine. I just, you'll have to note that, you know, this has been folded in half, so you're going to be able to easily center this any which way you want, just like this. And remember, this is the sticky part of it. So as you can see, your design can go on there right away with the sticky part, and you don't have to worry about the extra pieces, and you don't have to worry about transfer paper, because this is all ready to go just like that. Now we have one more design where I'm going to do some cutting here. I'll cut the other edges. It'll just take me a second or two to cut these off. I'm going to move them all. Just doing some rough cuts with it because I really don't want these extra edges. This with a little extra piece out of here. There we go. Okay, that one's ready for the next envelope. Put my scissors away. All right, next thing we want to do, of course, is go out and take a look at the heat guide for how we're going to be able to press this on. So let's take a look at our heat guide, and I'll show you how to get to it. You can get to the heat guide by just going to betsmakes.com, and there is a Cricut up here, and then heat guide. I've already clicked on that, and over here on the heat guide. Now, when you come to the heat guide, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to pick your transfer material. In our case, it's glitter iron-on. And then select the base material. And what I did is I went over to the Cricut blanks and picked pillow cover. So that's looking good. I have a press mat that I'm going to use, so I'm going to simply apply. And what it tells me is we're going to have to preheat it, which I've got it to preheat now, and it looks like it's ready. I need 330 degrees Fahrenheit and for 30 seconds. Then it says light pressure, flip and press for another 15 seconds. Remove liner when cool to touch. So that's the important part, is you don't want to remove it until it's cool. All right, so everything is set up now for doing the iron on. So what I've done is I've just spread this over. I've cut some of the edges off. And what we're going to do is now we are going to apply the heat. Now this is slightly bigger than what we want, and I have a little mat underneath. So what we're going to do is just hold this together like this, get it as straight on the mat as possible, and then I'm going to add a piece over top. And this is set to go. Then I'm just going to click on it. And we're going to do this for both pillowcases. Okay, and then we also want to do the top part. So this part was missing. So I'll just slide this up a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing at the top. And then the last thing we'll do, we will flip this over and then we will do 15 seconds twice, just like we did before. And that 15 seconds is because it wants us to flip it right over. So just a few seconds here. Okay, now I'm going to have to change my time, and we're just going to move it down to 15 seconds. There we go. Now we have to flip this over, but I want to protect my mat, so I'm just going to flip this over this way. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab the bottom part, and then I'm going to do it in two passes, one at the bottom, one at the top. Okay, so let's do the bottom first. Okay, and then I will slide this up, and then we will grab the top. Make sure I've got it all. We do. Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to shut that off and let it cool down. And I will move these off. Now what we have to do is let these cool so that we can then take them apart. Now the other one's been sitting here cooling, so I'm just going to switch them over. Now it could be that we might need some extra heat, but it doesn't seem that way. Look at this. It's a cool peel. Just be gentle with it just in case something comes off, but it didn't. Oh, this turned out beautiful. We do have to let the other one cool as well. And there we go. We have a beautiful pillowcase. Now we're going to have two of these. And we do have a zipper so I can add that extra piece of the pillow. But these turned out beautifully. Turn it around so you can see it this way. North, south, east, west. It's all facing the right way. And you don't see a lot of the extra little bits. There might be one or two little extra bits that I left in there, but you'll see there's no extra little pieces that I've ironed on, just the major ones. And that's a real reason why I like to cut those extra pieces out. Now, one last thing that we need to do here, and I'm just going to open up this pillow. Just move my heat thing out of the way here a little bit so I have some room to work. Now I have a zipper piece that goes in here. Now these are going to look lovely. slide those in. There we have it. We have our beautiful orchid design. Now I'm just going to shut the bottom of this. Easier said than done. Keep the pillow out of the way. Wow. Doesn't that look fabulous? I am so impressed with this. I hope you really had a lot of fun making this project, and until next time, happy crafting.